Good evening, and welcome to Behind the Shadows. My name is Susan Finelli, and I am your host and author of Behind the Shadows, a program where we go behind the shadows of what meets the eye. This evening we have a very interesting, intriguing, and fun program to present to you. We're going to be talking about the history of magic, and our guest tonight is Magic Mike Sherman. Welcome to our show, Mike.
Thank you very much.
And Mike is a professional magician, but he also volunteers countless hours giving free magic shows to the underprivileged children of the city of New York. He gives magic shows in nursing homes. It's just wonderful what he does, and it's too bad we don't have a lot of time because the magic he performs is just amazing. But Mike, what I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about, we're talking about the history of magic.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about your history. How did you get involved in magic?
Well, when I was about 5 or 6 years old, I was at a birthday party and there was a magician there. And there was a bunch of us kids sitting at a long table, and the magician was at the head of the table and performing. Now, most of the kids really weren't paying attention, but it was the first time I ever saw a magician, and I was amazed.
Right.
And the one where he took that milk pitcher and poured it into that newspaper cone, and he crushed it and the milk was gone, I was hooked. You were hooked.
That was it.
Absolutely.
That was it for you. I understand you met your wife through magic.
Yes, I was doing a Christmas show back in 1986, and I picked her out of the audience to help me with a particular trick, and it's kind of a comical trick, and that was it. She went back to her seat, and then a few months later I actually ran into her in a club, and I said, "Hey, do you remember me?" And she said, "Oh yeah, I remember you."
That was the magic, right?
Yes,
that was the magic,
yes.
Right. Well, you know, when we talk about magic, we think of, you know, someone standing up with a hat and pulling a rabbit out of a hat. But magic goes much deeper than that. And doing my research for the show, I read that the cavemen believed in magic, and they would draw pictures of animals on the cave walls before they went out to hunt, and they believed that magically these pictures would come to life, and they'd go out and then bring the bears or whatever back, and that was their magic. But really it was the self-confidence.
Exactly.
That was
psychology.
It was the psychology of magic. And then coming along into the ancient times of the Egyptians, I understand they were very superstitious with magic. And actually, I'm going to ask my my audio engineer, who is Jabari Ozazi. He has a show, Comedic Legacy, and he talks a lot about ancient history in Egypt. And Jabari, let's do a show on magic. But tonight we're going to focus on you and a little about your history. So, who was the first modern magician?
Well, in the 1800s, one of the first magicians to perform magic as an art form was Robert Houdin. He was from France. It was maybe the mid-1800s, and he was actually a clockmaker, and he designed some mechanical devices that moved, and it was the first of its kind, and it looked like magic. And he was one of the first. And following him was another magician from France. And it was Alexander Herman the Great, and he was maybe the first magician to have a goatee, a top hat, a jacket with tails, and he kind of had that look that
he was the performer.
Yeah,
he was the first performer.
And kind of the look that other magicians followed after that.
Right.
And of course, going into the late 1800s, you had Eric Weiss, who was a fan of Robert Houdin, and he changed his name to Harry Houdini. Oh,
so that's how Houdini got his name.
Right.
And he was a escapologist, correct?
He was a magician, but he also was an escape artist. And of course, in history, we know him as an escape artist, escaping from handcuffs, from straitjackets, being put upside down into a tank of water and trying not to die and escaping from it. And he was a great performer, and he knew really how to get to the audience. And he also had the advantage, back then there was no television. So when he would come into town, his act was very fresh, very new, and people never saw this. They only heard of him, but they couldn't have seen it on TV. So when he came into town, his act was new.
Right. Well, I know when you come into town, people flock to see you. I know you do a lot of private shows and kid shows and engagement parties, weddings. But I also know that you do parlor shows where I think last year you drew 500 people.
Yes,
to
I
your
do.
show.
I do a show in the winter. It's a dinner theater show. You come in. It's in a restaurant, but we turn it into a small theater, and it's a 5-course meal. And then I come out and I do a 1-hour show. It's for adults, and it's we only seat about 40 or 50 people, and it's just been really great success. And I'm very flattered that so many people come. So we'll do 10 or 11 shows or whatever it takes. But yeah, we have a great turnout, and I put a lot of energy into that show.
It's unfortunate that tonight we're not going to be able to do some of those more elaborate illusions that you're famous for. I know. But
I'm going to show you a few.
Well, good. Well, why don't we get started?
All right. Well, what I'd like to do is start out with a very simple card trick.
Okay.
Just to warm up. Okay, I'm just going to take the deck of cards, and I'm going to have you pick one card.
Imaginary.
Yes, yes, of course.
Oh,
take a look at it.
Don't look.
No, don't look. Not only do I want you to look at it, but you need to remember it.
Okay.
I'm going to take the rest of these cards. I'm going to put them face up.
Okay.
I need you to take your card and slide in the deck face down.
All right.
Perfect. Now I'm just going to reach into my pocket and take out the real deck. And what I want you to do is tell all of us, what was the card that you picked?
Ace of Hearts.
The Ace of Hearts, and you put it face down.
Correct.
I'm going to take out the deck, and I'm going to go through it. Because somewhere in the deck, there is a card facing down. I'm going to have you take a look at it.
Oh, my God. Ace of Hearts.
Yes, it is. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
How'd you do that?
It's magic.
It's magic.
Yes,
it's magic. And, you know, the hand is quicker than the eye.
Yes, let me show you something. They say the hand is quicker than the eye, and I'd like to prove it. I'd like to prove it with another card trick.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to take out the cards, and I'm just going to use this mat here. And what I'm going to do is take out of the deck the 4 aces. The Ace of Spades, the Ace of Hearts, the Ace of Clubs, and the Ace of Diamonds, the 4 aces. I'm going to take 1, 2, 3 cards.
All right.
That's 3 cards, and cover each ace with 3 cards. Now I'm right in front of you. My sleeves are rolled up.
Right.
And all you have to do is follow the 4 aces. And I'll show you what I mean. Again, I have 1, 2, 3 cards. Just watch the ace. That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Where'd that ace go?
Ah, that's the question. We're going to do it again, but I'm going to do it this way.
Okay.
Just watch the ace. That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
See what's going on? That's
no.
3 cards. Watch the ace. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you know the aces have to be somewhere.
They have to be there.
I hope so.
That's amazing.
Yes, they are.
That's incredible.
All right, thank you very much.
So now my next question would be, show me how to do that. But I know you can't because you have to kill me.
Sorry, yes, I would.
I know you would have to kill me. So let's talk a little bit about the secrecy behind the magician's oath. I know there's an oath that you take.
Well, yes, we do. And the whole thing is that if we do a show and then we show you how to do it, it does take the magic away. And that's what it's all about. It's about the surprise, what's coming, and making you think about how the trick is done.
Right, right. Because I know that, in fact, I may have your oath of secrecy here, if you don't mind. Can I read it?
Sure.
Tell me, did you have to raise your hand?
Yes,
you
yes,
did?
I did.
Okay. All right. As a magician, I promise never to reveal the secret of any illusion to a non-magician, unless that one swears to uphold the magician's oath in turn. I promise never to perform any illusion for any non-magician without first practicing the effect until I can perform it well enough to maintain the illusion of magic. Was that the oath that you had?
Yes, it is.
That's the oath you had to take. So if you told me the oath, I'd have to go out and say, I'm a magician now?
That's right, we would. Now, you know, before you asked me how I got into magic, and I had said I saw a magician at a birthday party, and then when I was about 11 or 12 years old, I found out a professional magician lived around the corner from me. He knew my aunt and uncle, so I went around and I knocked on his door, and he took me under the wing. And we're still friends. He's in his late 80s now. And that was really the magician who got me started. I was very fortunate to get to meet him. And the first time I went to his home and I saw his posters and his doves and his trunks and all this magic stuff, and it was just fantastic. And here I am, close to 40 years later, and when I go visit him, I still love looking at everything. I'm still amazed.
I understand you have a little antique trick that he gave you.
Yes,
he's retiring now. Is that what it is?
He still performs now and then.
He does, yeah.
Yes, and he's very vibrant. But this was one of the first tricks he gave me. And again, this was when I was it's about close to 40 years ago. And this is from Japan. And this was, I believe it was from the World's Fair, 1939 World's Fair.
1939.
And it's just, it's real nice. They made, after this, they made plastic ones, but this is made out of wood.
That's a wonderful
and it has the direction still with it.
Yeah.
And let me just show you. Take a coin, and you put it in, and then you just kind of slide it in. And you hope that it disappears.
And as a 10-year-old child, you must have been mesmerized
oh, yeah. It was great.
by this.
It was great. I just never figured out how to get the coin back.
But it's wonderful that he gave this to you.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I want to tell the audience, very recently I was sitting in a waiting room, and there was an elderly gentleman sitting next to me. And he had this canvas bag, and it said Stockholm Magicians something or other. So I said to him, I said, "Oh, are you a magician?" And he said, well, yes, I am. And I said, by the way, do you know Magic Mike? And I didn't even get a chance to say Sherman. Of course I know Magic Mike. I mean, so someday you're going to be as well known as this gentleman is.
I don't know. I just like to have fun with it.
I know you do. You do a great job.
When I started high school, the same year that I started high school, there was a teacher that was a magician. He started a magic club. It was in Staten Island, Tottenville High School Magic Club, and I became the first member of the club. And that took it to the next level because we were able to perform in front of an audience in the auditorium. So once again, I was really in the right place at the right time to perform.
Right. Well, I understand that the magic, they're all like there's escape and penetration and restoration. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, in magic, one thing that's is making something vanish. Maybe I can show you.
Sure.
For example, I have a paper bag. I brought an object with me. A bottle of ketchup.
Heinz ketchup.
And what I'm going to do is just make the bottle vanish or disappear. Just like that. And it's gone.
Wow. Wow.
Now the hard part. Making it
bring it back?
come back. And it's back.
That's amazing.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people don't believe that the bottle disappeared. A lot of people actually think that I'm holding the bottle from the base when I turn the bag upside down. But you know what I tell those people? Then how would you explain this?
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. It really is.
Thank you.
It really is. So let's talk a little bit about learning magic. You were a child when you learned magic.
Yes.
And
well, I was fortunate enough to be in this club.
In this club.
But anyone who wants to learn magic today, there are organizations, different IBM, the International Brotherhood of Magicians, different rings. They could just find out where their local ring is and join, and they're welcome.
I understand in speaking to you that sometimes you'll stand in front of a mirror for 14, 16 hours just to perfect.
Yeah, if I'm working on something new, sometimes you can get it pretty fast, and sometimes you can't.
Right.
I was working on a show a few years ago where the opening trick was it was a big deal, and the trick was actually about 5 seconds long, but it took me about 14 hours of practice just to get it right.
Just to get it right.
In front of a mirror.
Right, that's amazing. Well, maybe you can show us a little more of your magic.
I'm going to borrow an audience member.
Please. Will?
Hi.
Hi, Will. Thanks for helping out.
My pleasure.
I'm going to do I'm going to do a card trick for Will.
Okay.
I have a deck of cards. Well, I'm going to have you pick one, any one you'd like. And I'm going to step back, and if you would, maybe you can show the card to Sue. I'll take a step back. I don't want to see the card.
Okay.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
Should I look at it?
Did the audience see it?
Did the audience see the card?
Yep.
Yep.
I want you to take that card, and I want you to put it somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. And all I'm going to do is close the deck. The card's right there. I'm just going to close the deck with the card in the middle. I'm not going to shuffle the deck. I'm not going to mix up the deck. So we know that card's somewhere in the middle. Now the box that the cards come in. Well, I want you to make sure that there are no slits, no openings, no trap doors. That's just a box that cards come in. Looks good?
It's good.
Okay. I also have some tape here. I'll show you what we're going to do. Well, we'll need that. I'm going to take the cards. I'm just going to put them in the box. And I have some tape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tape and I'm going to seal the top of the box on one side, just like that. I'm going to seal the top of the deck on the other side, just like that. And I'm going to take some more tape and I'm going to wrap it around the deck, just like that. So I have a taped up, sealed up, wrapped up deck, just like that. Well, I'm going to ask you to look in your pocket and make sure there's nothing in that pocket.
Nothing.
Pocket is empty.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to take this wrapped up, taped up box, and I'm going to drop it. I just want you to see there's nothing else in my hands other than this box. And I'm going to drop it in Will's pocket, just like that. Now what I'm going to try to do is reach in, remove the tape, open the lid, riffle through the cards, find Will's card, pull it out, but on the way out, I'm going to seal the box and re-tape it. Now, how long do we have? Because this takes a while.
We have time.
Okay. My hands are empty.
Okay.
My sleeves are rolled up. There's absolutely nothing in my hands, correct?
Correct.
And you know what we're going to do.
Yes.
Once again, everything I just said. I'm going to reach in. I'm going to try to do everything I just said, but I'm going to try to do it really fast.
Wow. Wow.
Just like that.
Wow.
Now, Will, I'm going to ask you to reach in, remove the box, and make sure it's still taped and sealed.
That is amazing.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Will. Thank you.
Now, what is this trick called in the categories of tricks? What would this
Well,
go
I mean,
on?
we have card tricks. We have, well, I kind of say there's three types of magic. There's close-up, which is really what we're doing here today. Card tricks, coin tricks, things that you see close-up. There's parlor magic, which is the type of show I do at the dinner theater, where it's a relatively small group. It's just me. There are no assistants, no trunks, no boxes. And then you have your stage magic, which really are the big shows, like the Vegas shows with the trunks and the assistants and the tigers. So those are the three types that I say there are.
You don't have any tigers home,
No,
right?
no, not anymore.
Not anymore, right? Your wife wouldn't let you.
No
your wife
tigers.
wouldn't let you. I understand back in the Middle Ages, they were very superstitious, and they would like look at someone's palm and, you know, tell the future, and they thought that was magic.
Right, right.
And then they came into a time where the Europeans thought it was sinful. Now all of a sudden magic became a sin.
Well, I guess they looked at it like witchcraft.
Yeah, exactly. It was witchcraft.
Right. And later on, when Houdini was around performing, you know, people were doing a lot of seances and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And Houdini knew that it was nothing more than trickery. So he actually went around and started to prove to people that it was nothing more than trickery by doing the exact same thing that these people did, because people were basically getting ripped off.
Right, right. Now, Houdini, how did he die? During a trick? Was he
Well,
doing a
no,
trick?
I mean, they say that he died from a ruptured appendix on Halloween, Halloween of
interesting.
1926, and he did a bit in his act where he was very well built and muscular, and he did a bit in his act where he would bring someone up, and he would tighten his stomach and let them punch him in the stomach as hard as they could. And supposedly, what happened is one day someone from a boxing team in a local college knocked on his stage door, and when he opened it, he punched him in the stomach, but Houdini wasn't prepared. And apparently this ruptured his appendix, and he died a few days later.
Oh my.
But a few years ago, a book came out, and the author said that perhaps that wasn't how he died, that he might have been poisoned. He had a lot of enemies. These people that did the seances didn't really like him.
I see.
And they say some of the other magicians didn't really like him, because as far as he was concerned, he was the only magician. I don't really know what the truth is.
Now his cemetery where he's buried, that's almost like a museum, right? People go visit,
yeah,
right?
He's buried in Queens. And
I'm sure you've been.
I have been there.
I'm sure.
And yeah, it's quite a nice thing to see. And every year on Halloween they do a seance there.
Interesting. Wow, that's amazing. Now, are your children involved in magic?
Well, I think they're tired of magic. My son, who's going to be 15, he's been helping me with shows since he's maybe about 6 years old. He doesn't really care for it too much, other than when I do the dinner theater show. He kind of likes that. Right. My daughter, she's tired of it.
Your wife? She's
my
tired
wife,
of it?
yeah. When we first got married, she was my assistant. She did help me on stage, and you know, if we'd go to a school, and she'd get in the trunk and that type of thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I always say that when my kids are older, they're going to say, didn't everyone grow up with things levitating and disappearing? And
well, you know, it's interesting because I was reading that, you know, magic, once you really understand it, like, oh yeah, duh, like of course that's how it works.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I was at one of your shows, and for some reason I was behind your assistant. I don't know what I was doing, but I wound up behind your assistant. So I was able to get a glimpse of how the trick worked, and I said to myself, of course, you know, of course that's how that works, you know. But I think that you're so caught up in the magic of it and the awe of, oh my God, like, what's going to happen, that your mind, you know, loses all reason.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of psychology involved. I think what I love most about magic is how clever it is, and it's just so clever, and that's what I think I still love about it. And it's just, I'm still learning new tricks, and I'm going to conventions, and I'm going to shows, and seeing what's out there. Good.
Well, let's see what else you can show us today.
Sure. Can I show you something with money?
Oh, money's always good.
Okay. Show you something with money. I have a dollar bill, and I have a $5 bill. And I'm going to need to borrow your palm. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I just want to show you, it's a 5 and a 1. I'm going to take the $5 bill, fold it into a square, and I'm just going to put it in your palm. I'm going to have you take your finger and just put it right there. I'm going to take the dollar bill, and I'm going to fold it the same way, just like that. Now, I'm going to have you remove your hand.
This hand?
This hand, yeah. Close your hand, and just turn it over. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach in. So I don't want you to open your hand. I just want you to relax your fingers just a little, enough that I can reach in, and you're going to allow me to remove one of the bills. I'm going to reach in. I'm going to take out this bill, and I want you to tighten up on that bill. Nice and tight, nice and tight. Now, I have the
$1 bill.
The $1 bill. Hold yours tight. You have the
$5 bill.
The $5 bill. Watch. Did you feel it?
No.
No? Oh, okay. We're going to turn it over and open.
How did that happen?
I have the 5, and you have the 1. Okay.
Okay. Now, Mike, I'd love to stay here all night with you, but I think we only have about 5 minutes or so.
Okay. Yes, I want to show you something. This is one of my favorite tricks.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask Will to come back up to help me with this.
Hi, Mike.
Now, Will, thank you. What I'm going to need from you is to take out a $100 bill, please.
Gee, Will.
Do you have 100?
What a 2 do?
We'll use a 2.
Okay.
Now,
better than a 1.
You know, do you mind writing on this too?
Jefferson doesn't mind.
Okay. Now, I'm going to have you take this marker. I want you to write on the bill, front, back, anything, any way you'd like. The only thing I'm going to ask you is write big enough so that so the audience could see it. Okay, so Will has a $2 bill here.
Okay.
He's going to write something on it with the marker, and we're going to show the audience.
Okay.
Oh, he's writing front and back.
Front and back.
All right.
Okay.
No one ever does that.
He follows direction.
Okay, if you will, can we show Sue? Can we show the audience?
Okay, and do you want to show our audience? Everyone sees that? Good. All right.
Okay. I'm going to take the bill. I'm going to fold it in half, just like that. I'm going to take it and fold it again and again into a square, more or less. Now my sleeves are rolled up. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm going to take the bill and fold it even smaller. Now the bill is right here. It's right here.
Yes.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bandana and I'm just going to cover the bill right around the center, right around the middle. I'm going to take the bandana and just twist it around the bill a little bit. And well, I need you to take the bill and grasp it from the top. Hold it nice and tight. Hold it just right there. Now, I have a bag here. I have a bag, and I'm going to show you what's in the bag.
Okay.
But before I do, I just want you to see that my hands are definitely empty. My sleeves are definitely rolled up. I'm going to reach into the bag and take out a lemon. I'm going to reach in and take out another lemon. I'm going to reach in and take out yet a third lemon. And I'm going to reach in and take out a fourth and final lemon. So I have 2 lemons in my right hand, 2 lemons in my left hand. So I'm going to ask you to point to one of my hands. This hand?
Correct.
We're going to get rid of those.
Okay.
Well,
yes,
I want you to point to one of the lemons. This lemon?
Yes, sir.
Let's get rid of that. Now comes the magic. Well, I'm going to ask you to just take a few steps back. Face me. I want you to take that bill, and I want you to start to swing the bill and bandana towards this lemon. And on 3, I want you to throw the bill and the bandana at the lemon. Are you ready?
Ready.
Sue, are you ready?
Ready.
Here we go. That's 1, 2, 3.
Where's the bill?
Now, I don't see the $2 bill.
No, nor do I.
Thank you very much. Hold it. But I have this lemon.
I was going to say, we owe Will $2.
I have this lemon and I have this knife. I'm going to take the lemon. I'm going to take the knife. I'm going to cut the lemon in half. I'm going to break open the lemon.
Oh my God.
There is something in the lemon.
Oh.
So pull that out, pull that out. Open it up, open it up. And could it be the bill?
Monica loves. Will loves Monica.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Absolutely
Here's your
amazing.
bill.
Take your money.
There you go.
Magic Mike, unfortunately, we have run out of time. I wish we had so much more time.
Well,
I want to thank you.
My pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here.
Sharing your talent with us tonight.
Thank you.
I want to especially thank our audience and everyone who's tuning in for joining us this evening. If you have a topic that you'd like us to discuss, you can contact me at Susan@BehindTheShadows.com. If you'd like to see any of our prior shows, you can go to my website, www.BehindTheShadows.com, and click on Public Access Television. And until next time, remember, the brightest light shines behind the shadows. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It was a great show.
Oh,
Will,
that was
thank
fun.
you for your help.
That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.